Well, first up on the bulletin, let's tell you how just 3 days left for Odisha to go in for polls, and Prime Minister Modi, the issue for the BJP while addressing a rally in Odisha's Angul, has raised the issue of missing keys to the Ratna Bhandar, which means the treasury of the Jagannath Temple. Well, the Prime Minister has claimed that the missing keys have gone to Tamil Nadu and have asked the crowd if it would forgive the person who's responsible for the keys going missing. Now, making a veiled attack on the Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik's potential success and also his trusted aide V.K. Pandayan, who hails, remember, from Tamil Nadu. Listen in to this.
बीजेडी सरकार में जगन्नाथ जी का मंदिर भी सुरक्षित नहीं बचा है। पिछले 6 साल से श्री रत्न भंडार की चाबी का अता पता नहीं है। इसके पीछे का बहुत बड़ा राज बीजेडी सरकार और मुख्यमंत्री को घेरा डाल करके जो लोगों ने कब्जा किया हुआ है ना, वो सीधे सीधे जिम्मेवार है।
Well, let me go across to Mohit Bhatt. Mohit, since yesterday, of course, Lord Jagannath unfortunately has been dragged into Rajniti, but today there is a completely different twist which has been given. Here, the Prime Minister and Amit Shah alleging that the keys of the missing Ratna Bhandar, which is the actual treasury of the Lord Jagannath Temple, has been found in Tamil Nadu, making a political link to this. Tell us what happened after that and the hue and cry over it.
Well, yes, Meghna, we see that how Prime Minister Narendra Modi has attacked the Chief Minister of Odisha, Naveen Patnaik, in his election rally speech. And we know that there are just few days to go to the Odisha elections, and we see massive and aggressive campaigning by the BJP leaders. But we see that how Prime Minister Narendra Modi has attacked Odisha Chief Minister, and in a way, a very subtle dig taken at the political advisor of the BJD, political advisor of perhaps Naveen Patnaik, who BJP says is running the BJP, Mr. Pandayan, who he went on to say, Narendra Modi, Prime Minister, went on to say that the keys of the inner Ratna Bhandar have been missing from past 6 months. Why the reports of the Judicial Commission has been suppressed? Where exactly are the keys? And PM in the end stated that those keys have been sent to Tamil Nadu, to which we have seen that how DMK has taken a strong objection. We have seen reactions coming in from various DMK leaders, including Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin, where M.K. Stalin has slammed the statement coming in from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, saying that Prime Minister is calling people of Tamil Nadu thieves. All the Tamilians are being called thieves by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and the Tamil Nadu and Odisha share a very close relationship, and Prime Minister is trying to create a divide between these two states. So clearly we see that how Annamalai again has also hit out at M.K. Stalin, saying that Stalin does not understand what exactly Prime Minister meant to say. So clearly it seemed that it was a very subtle dig at Mr. V.K. Pandayan, who hails from Tamil Nadu, and as of now he is managing the day-to-day affairs of the BJD, and the BJP also claims that, and he's a very close aide of Chief Minister of Odisha, Mr. Patnaik. So clearly we see that very strong reactions coming in from BJD and DMK on the statement that has been made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We have to wait and watch how exactly this political fight will go. And as you clearly stated, that Lord Jagannath has been at the center of controversy, be it the statement that has come in from Sambit Patra, BJP candidate from Puri, or now from the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and the counter reactions that have come in from DMK and the BJD.
And of course, the context of it all is how Pandayan, who's seen as the heir apparent to Naveen Patnaik, also hails, remember, from Tamil Nadu. But in fact, let me go across to Aditi, because we need to understand why really are these keys so important. Remember, it's been missing for the last 6 years, but it has been opened only 4 times in the last entire century. So tell us a bit about where the trail to the key is. Aditi.
Well, Meghna, before that, let's also talk about, yes, I have the graphics with me. Let's talk about where are the keys of Ratna Bhandar. Well, Ratna Bhandar was opened 4 times till now in 19, if we can run the graphics to the next plate. Then Ratna Bhandar opened in 1984, 78, 26 and 1905. Then the Naveen Patnaik government tried to open this again in 2018, but they failed to do so because the keys were missing. So the officials could not reopen the Ratna Bhandar in 2018, after which Odisha government, because it sparked major anger amongst people, then they formed a committee to probe the missing keys case. Then another panel was formed under SC judge supervision, who said that they will also look after what's happening, where are the keys. So after 2018, the Ratna Bhandar has not been opened, and till now it has become a political issue that where are the keys to this Ratna Bhandar. Let's also talk about what's inside the Ratna Bhandar. We have another graphics which details that how unused ornaments are inside this Ratna Bhandar. Gold ornaments and silver utensils are there. The ornaments used in festival and unused ornaments of the deity are also kept inside this Ratna Bhandar. We also have details of who are the key holders, who are the stakeholders. If we talk about, then the Ratna Bhandar chamber contains ornaments secured with 2 locks. 2 locks are securing the ornaments that are used. One key is with Sri Jagannath Temple Authority Chief Administrator. The other key is with the temple official and the caretaker of deities ornaments. So there are 3-4 keys which are with temple authorities caretakers, but since then the keys are missing. Right now Odisha government has failed to explain where are the keys.
Well, thank you for that quick update. So let's try and understand what really is the significance of the key, not in Rajniti, but in the Astha for the lakhs of devotees of Lord Jagannath. In fact, let me go across to Hindol Sengupta, who's joining us, an author. Hindol, you must put all of this into perspective, because we see a massive hue and cry over the Ratna Bhandar. What is the Ratna Bhandar? Why is it that it's barely ever opened? I believe only 4 times in the last century. And what is it believed to be contained? Because no one's seen it, at least for quite some time now.
Meghna, thanks for the question. 2 or 3 things are important to note in this. I think the Ratna Bhandar case of Lord Jagannath and the great Jagannath Puri temple raises a wider issue. While you are right in debating and discussing the current political nuances of this issue, there is a wider perspective which must be kept in mind. Not just the Ratna Bhandar, but there are unlimited and untold treasures in temple after temple across India. One of the great failures of the Indian government is not being able to evaluate what is there and not being able to really protect this. We don't know. Please, and let me be absolutely candid, there have been malicious trusts and malicious governments in the past, state governments in the past, who have extracted untold wealth from these temples and misused this. I am of the firm opinion that there should be a nationwide debate on the wealth of our temples. Who should control these temples? I believe only a true devotee and groups of devotees have the right to control these temples. We have seen instances when people who are absolutely not even connected in any way with the deity or the temple sit on temple boards and take decisions on this vast amount of wealth. There is a lot of secret wealth which have been accumulated in these temples for thousands of years. I am extremely worried and extremely anxious that all of this in some form or the other is being stolen. And Meghna, allow me to make one further point. This is no scaremongering. Please remember, this is the way temple art was stolen and smuggled around the world for hundreds of years. A few years ago, when that infamous gallery in New York was raided by NYPD, that gallerist, what was that crook doing? He was basically in cahoots with, these temple authorities and stealing and breaking idols and taking all that art and artifacts and selling it in the black market of the West. This has been going on from India for a long, long time. the gems, jewelry, and all the wealth in these temples belong only to the deities. Even the devotees are not supposed to touch it. This belongs to the deity. And if we cannot today in 2024 not have a national consensus that this is our civilizational treasure and we should create a national plan to preserve this, it really shame on us.
Well, in fact, this has been one of the relentless campaigns of Times Now, which we have done for the last 2 years now, that the temples, which are the custodians of Astha, this should be in the hands of those who are the true devotees of the god. And this has been one of the biggest debates, of course, which has been raked up. And this is across the length and breadth of the entire nation. Hindol, you're absolutely right. But you made a big charge that there are successive governments several times who are allegedly looting the temple wealth which belongs to Lord Jagannath. So tell us, who should have been the custodians of the keys of the Ratna Bhandar? And there was a Supreme Court commission also which was looking into it. But what happened to the report?
No, this is, of course, you make a very pertinent point. I mean, this, of course, is extremely problematic. I would like to raise also the issue that who has access to this wealth at a day-to-day basis. Politics is deeply enmeshed and embedded in many of these, temple boards. Remember, many of these temples are, have been controlled by groups of people over generations. Local politicians are involved in this. I want to ask you this question and ask all your audiences and viewers this question. Do we even know what is there in which temple? Do we actually know that already people are not stealing this and selling it and sending off somewhere else? We have no answers to any of these questions. Once again, India has no answer, and this is truly tragic and shameful. We have no sense of cultivating and protecting our cultural heritage. We have no sense of protecting our national wealth and treasure, and we have no sense, allow me to say this, we have no sense of true spirituality, that this wealth only, as I was saying, belongs to the deity of that temple. For all the talk of Hinduism, we have no sense of that, and therefore we allow a new kind of plunder to go on in these temples. That plunder, and I'm reminded today of Somnath. Somnath was attacked maybe 16, 17 times and plundered. Imagine the amount of wealth that was there in Somnath. But Somnath was not alone. There are countless temples in India which have that kind of wealth. And yet, this plunder, I'm afraid, is happening through a different kind of route today. It is happening through an organized mechanism of plunder because the temples are not in the hands of the deities.
It's going to be very interesting, and you're absolutely right. It is completely unaccounted for. It's a very opaque procedure as to what really these Ratna Bhandars or treasuries across these temples actually contain, because there is no proper accounting which has been done. In cases like this, Hindol, it reminds me that there have been chief ministers in the past who've said that the wealth of the temple should be used for the people. And there has been a very sharp reaction which has come in from the right as well as the devotees, saying that this wealth does not belong to the state. Stop eyeing it. Is that perhaps what's happening?
Well, one of the questions that we really should deliberate this is, as I was saying, we need a national policy around this. We are now building a brand new national museum. Now, alongside that, it's wonderful that we have a grand national museum, we'll have new national archives. All of this is wonderful. But a lot of these treasures are at the state level. And you would appreciate this, Meghna, that there are state controls involved in many of these sites. Now, unless there is a national framework which is created, which has inputs from all interested people to create a methodology in which we know that, okay, this temple has these treasures, we know that this needs to be kept in a particular way, we know that this needs to be preserved in a particular way, and we make a access list. Who are the people who can actually access it? And we also formulate a pathway so that there is every 5 years there is an annual enumeration, so that if some things disappear, it's not that 100 years later we will find out that, once again the Kohinoor has disappeared, right? And has gone to somebody else's country.
Absolutely.
And is clearly being held up there. Now, this, I would not be surprised at all that if this kind of stuff is happening even today and will happen in the future, unless we build this national framework for the preservation of temple wealth in India, there is absolutely no hope for the future that we will be able to preserve this priceless cultural heritage of our country.
And it's really unfortunate that all of that is also being dragged into Rajniti today, when there is very little conception of a draft, even if we begin with a draft of trying to protect the national treasures in the way of legislations that the politicians are talking about. However, that doesn't stop them from dragging the Lord into the conversation. But thank you so much, Hindol Sengupta, for putting all of that into perspective. This is one of the stories we are tracking very closely, not just from the angle of what really is there in the Ratna Bhandar and why it is so significant for all the devotees of Lord Jagannath, but also the politics over it. Let me go across to Aditi. Aditi, I believe we have a rough calculation of what the Ratna Bhandar, we haven't seen it open since 1984, but what it perhaps contains.
Well, exactly, Meghna. And as per the last inspection, these details are what we have. The Ratna Bhandar contains unused ornaments of deity. It also has over 149 kg of gold ornaments of the deity, 258 kg of silver utensils, and gold ornaments fitted with precious stones. And also one point to be noted that these all were gifted and donated by erstwhile kings and devotees, and these details are as per the inspection that was conducted last in 1985. Since then we don't know what has progressed, but these are the latest figures.
Well, thank you so much. Of course, we don't know what the latest figures are, because in 2018, when they tried to open the Ratna Bhandar, the keys had then gone missing. It was detected that it was missing. Of course, the missing keys to this treasure trove of Jagannath Temple has unlocked a massive political storm as well after INDIA bloc waded into it. They have attacked the Prime Minister for politicizing the Lord and also for insulting and maligning, as they call it, insulting and maligning the people of Tamil Nadu. Watch this.